All right, everyone. So we got a Jets and the Bucks playing head to head, and I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, usually we give both sides of why we think each side can cover, and then I give you my play. I'm recording this on Tuesday, and so I'm going to give you an argument for both sides. I'm going to present my facts as I see them. I'm not giving you a pick in this game because I am just confused. All right, I might talk about a total, but I am so confused by this game that I'm not going to give a play because I got to think some more on this thing. But let's get right into it. So the Jets are +7. The total for the game is 45.5. On the money line, the Jets are plus 285, and the Bucs are at home as 7-point favorites. All right. So let's start with the Jets. Why can they, cover this spread? Well, very simple. This is a big spread for the Bucs, and the Bucs are a great team, but the Bucs are also a team, as we saw against the Texans, where they seem to win games very ugly. Right? They're just out there battling, but they're not a team where I go, they're going to blow you out, right? And so when we look at a Jets team that I know they're coming off, a bad loss. That's actually the next note I have of this could be a bounce back game, but this is a team that can be frisky and keep it within 7. We're getting a 7 here. So, if it moves to 7.5, that makes it even more appetizing, right? It makes you want it even more on the Jets. But this is just a situation where even though the Jets are on the road, we don't exactly know, what the Bucs are going to be able to do. And I think there's a chance that if this game's ugly, 7 points gets covered. All right, let's flip over to the Bucs. The Jets might be without Justin Fields due to concussion, and I think that's a big deal. I think Justin Fields adds a level, even when he's not playing great, he adds a level of playmaking that when he does play great, he can make things happen. So, even if it's not consistent, just the fact that there's a possibility for him to have said game leaves you with something. And if they don't have him, that's going to be a big deal. They looked bad last week, and I've been the biggest Aaron Glenn defender, biggest Aaron Glenn fan. I think he's going to do a great job over there. But even he said, look, we just didn't look like we had it. We just didn't look, he said, we didn't have these guys ready to play. I thought for sure they were going to be a thorn in the side of the Buffalo Bills, and they just weren't. And when you talk about the talent that the Bucs do have on offense, they got good receivers, they got a good running game, they have a phenomenal quarterback. That defense is awesome. On paper, you could say this is going to be a blowout, right? And they're at home. And the final thing is they gave up a ton of points to the Steelers. The Jets did. So even in the game where the Jets look better, they gave up a ton of points, and they're giving up a lot of points 2 weeks in a row now. And I think the beauty of the Bucs is that they are about as balanced as you can get on the offensive end. They have a running game that works. Bucky Irving is phenomenal, and yesterday White as well. He was doing phenomenal. He might be injured though. I have to look into that, but he was playing well. Then you go to the receivers, right? You have Mike Evans, who's your big name. He's your vet, but this guy is just Mr. Consistency. And then other talented receivers, right? Including a young rookie. And then defensively, you're all there. So they're just very well balanced. And it's very tough, when you're a team like the Jets to go up against a balanced team like that and to be able to deal with them. So when you've given up a ton of points to the Steelers, you give up a ton of points to the Bills, and you know the kind of talent the Bucs have, this could be a long day for the Jets. So this is usually where I'd give my pick. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm leaning towards the Bucs -7. I really am. I think the thing to me is if the Jets defense can't step it up, and I'm not even criticizing them because I understand, okay, if there's a turnover, if the offense isn't playing bad, is playing bad, that hurts the defense. But if the Jets defense continues to give up points, right? Meaning if this game, if I think they've given up now 30 points in both games, if they give up 30 again, this is a spread that the Bucs will cover. I can assure you the Jets are not scoring 23 points on the Bucs. It's just not going to happen. And so if we get a big offensive game from Baker Mayfield and company, then this is a spread that will easily be covered. Um, I'm leaning to the Bucs right now, but to me, the X factor is Aaron Glenn, and I just think you're going to see this Jets team all year fighting and fighting and fighting, and I think they're going to figure it out defensively, and that's what kind of scares me right now. I'm not going to bet this game immediately. I'm probably going to wait to see if we get to 6.5. Maybe it becomes more of a Bucs play. If we get to 7.5, maybe it becomes more of a Jets play. But the final thing is I would consider, all right, looking at the under in this game as well. And the reason I say the under is just because I think the two different types of games I picture in my head are as follows. The Bucs win this game in a blowout, right? They win 28-3. They win 28-7, okay? In that case, right, you're going to have the Bucs scoring a lot, but the Jets scoring almost none. Um, the other game I see is a game in which the Jets play this thing tough. They're real tough. And in that case, I don't see this being what we saw with the Steelers, right? I see this being, 14 to 10, 17 to 14. In both cases, the under is going to hit. So if you're kind of like, I may end up on the under. Not entirely sure yet what I'm going to do, but to me, those are the two bets that I'm would most leaning to. If you're really against the side, but you want to have some action in this game, I would say maybe the under, right? Because I just don't see a path to the Jets and the Bucs putting up big numbers, right? I think it's either the Bucs run away with this thing, or it's an ugly, ugly game in which neither team, scores a whole hell of a lot. And this is a 44.5 point total. So thank you all for watching. As we always say, no profit is guaranteed, and we will see you next time.